Hello everybody, this is Marty, and this is Sailing Vessel Kudos, a Hans Christian 38T, heavy blue water cruiser, full keel, tipping the scales at 43,000 pounds in cruising trim. Well, I decided to head for French Polynesia, leaving from Cabo San Lucas. The crew I had that was going to meet me in La Cruz, which is by Puerto Vallarta, bailed on me, so now I'm crossing alone and I can't see any reason to go another 300 miles south just to turn around and head back across. It just doesn't make any sense. And a neighbor boat, Ruby Slippers, warned me that La Cruz was starting to get a lot of theft and such in the area. Apparently, not only stealing dinghies and motors, but also they were doing things like getting aboard when you weren't on their boat and stealing the electronics and stuff. I don't need to deal with that. So I'm out of here. Goodbye, Cabo San Lucas. Providing any unforeseen problems. Next land I should see should be Nuku Hiva in French Polynesia. Good morning. Morning of day 3, May 12th. We've been chugging along, doing pretty good. Weather's been okay. Last night I got a good night's sleep, thankfully. But the wind died, so obviously the ocean got pretty nice. But anyways, plugging along. I think the first day I did 119 miles. Second day was 116. We'll see what today brings with the no wind for a while last night. Right now it's blowing about 15. And according to Predict Wind, it looks like it's going to be conditions very similar to this all the way. Right now it's forecasting I'm going to get there the 30th. This is typical trade winds in the Pacific. As you notice, the wind drops down in a southerly manner along the U.S. West Coast in Baja, Mexico. Then it turns west and goes across. And then you see the wind coming up out of South America and coming across. The area between the two, where you see the white and the light blue coming across, is known as the doldrums, and sometimes that extends way farther than what it shows in this picture. That area is usually squally, storms, and does not have much wind in it. So that's a problem when you're crossing. You need to get through that at its narrowest point, hopefully, and it's constantly changing. There is Island Clarion, which you can't go on. It's a Mexican island, but you have to have special permits to even anchor next to it. So unless it's emergency, there's no go on that. But we got the jib up, single reef in the main, chugging along, doing just fine. Probably don't need the single reef in the main, but it does unshadow the jib a little bit because the wind does get blocked by the it on the jib. So we're just cruising along, a little too much wind for a spinnaker or the Genoa. Again, this goes back, if I had a furling head sail, then yeah, I'd probably have a little more sail out, but I don't. Everything on the boat's doing fine. I had a flying fish on deck yesterday morning. Nothing this morning. With the crappy seas that I had coming out of Cabo San Lucas and blowing 30, 35 again. The whole boat's covered in salt water. Everything it touches sticky. Nothing dries because it's salt. Actually starting to look forward to maybe getting a little rain to rinse the boat off. That would be kind of nice right now. Other than that, not much going on. Just plugging away here. You can see we're kind of rocking and rolling. You got to hang on where no matter what you do, kind of plant your butt and stay there. A few ships here and there leaving out of Mexico. Once I got around the horn there of Baja, it was like ships everywhere. Didn't have to steer to get around any or anything, but they were definitely all over the AIS and the radar. Out here today, I've got one tanker about 40 miles up in front of me here going across. And other than that, that's all I see out here. I'm about 350 miles offshore, I guess, right now. So far so good. Taking a little more northerly track. A lot of the weather models are calling for a southerly track, more south, but they also forecasted thunderstorms, and I don't really like the idea of playing with thunder and lightning, so this northerly track is the PWE model. Doesn't show any weather like that happening, so I think we'll just stay up here. The wind's about the same. Actually, if anything, the wind's a little better, a little farther north, like I'm going now. And then before we get to the doldrums, so that all the weather models meet back together again and cross the doldrums, basically in the same spot, and then from there on to French Polynesia at the same route. So, not a bad ocean. My dinghy's got a hole in it. I had evidently rubbed on the back of the boat there right after I left Mexico, and it started deflating the front section. So when I get there, I'm gonna have to patch that. Other than that, everything else is going good. I got to make water today, not because I need it. I got to run it every 5 days to keep the membrane fresh. So I go ahead and make water and top off the tanks. Keep chugging along. Yes, that's about it. Trying not to burn any fuel. I need it later on, so. Fuel was a couple of bucks a gallon cheaper in Mexico than it was in San Diego. I'll let everybody know that. I think it was $6.67 a gallon, where San Diego was $8.56 a gallon. And gasoline was $5.60, I think it was. I topped off all my tanks before I left. So, just keep plugging away. Way forward here. Got one over here slapping the water with his tail. See what he's doing. These are all gray. They look like clipper. Quite a few of them out here playing. Winds have been light. We got the Genoa up. It once in a while crests above 15, so then you'd have to take the spinnaker down. I'd probably be doing better if I had the spinnaker up, but This is a safer way to go, especially with not having crew with me. Day 6, May 15th, wind up to 18 knots. Not bad, a little rolly. Day 7 of the passage, starting to get a little more overcast and clouds. Ocean's not too bad, kind of rocky and rolly, but still running wing on wing. I haven't done a sail change now in 3 days. Just plugging along. Had a couple of days I was slightly under 100 miles a day, but I think today is going to be my highest day. A little better wind yesterday. I've been logging things from noon to noon, so. Get a count on that here in a little bit. But pretty blue water. Haven't looked up to see what kind of birds these are yet, but figure that out. One of them pooped all over my sail. Haven't landed on the boat yet though. They can't figure out a safe place to land on it. I figured they'd be all over the Starlink. Not yet. But anyways, it's just kind of just feels like land in Mexico is just over that way, and it's hard to believe it's almost 1,000 miles that way. And I'm less than 2,000 miles now from French Polynesia, so just keep playing along. Haven't seen much activity out here. A few squid and flying fish on the deck once in a while, but actually I had one little flying fish. He couldn't have been about 2 inches long. Came through the port light in the cabin and ended up on the counter in the galley on top of the refrigerator. How in the world he hit that hole and landed clear in there is beyond me. But anyways, got solar panels out, trying to keep things charged up. When it gets overcast, obviously the solar doesn't work there as well. Then I have to run a generator of the engine to keep the batteries up. So. And I'm a stickler for keeping things topped off, including the water and all that, just in case something does happen. I got reserves, so I don't have to worry about it. Anyways, calculate the mileage here and let you know. Alrighty. Got some numbers. I'm about 800 miles from Cabo San Lucas. The entire trip to this point, from leaving home to here, I'm about 2,900 miles under the keel, and I have about 1,800 miles left to go to French Polynesia. So I'm guessing a couple more weeks. Predict wind is predicting I should get there the 31st. I think that's a little optimistic. I think it's going to be closer to the 2nd. So we'll see. Keep sailing along. Fish jumping out there here and there. I don't know what they are. Caught them that time. It almost looked like mackerel or something along that line, about that size. You know, 12 to 18 inch. I don't know. I'm not from this country, so I don't have a clue what kind of fish are out here playing around on the surface and jumping. You can see them in the waves. And the birds aren't going, they're too big for these birds. So. Fortunately, these birds haven't figured out a way to land on kudos yet, so they don't poop all over it. Morning of the 17th. A little more cloud cover. Getting closer to the doldrums. I'm again standing at about water level, so as you look out the back of the boat, you can kind of tell how big the swell is now. I'd say, I mean, even with eyesight right now is 6 feet. And I would say we got some coming through that are probably 7 to 8. Fortunately, they're not steep, and they got some distance between them, so that's what makes it livable. It's like that one here that's coming, yeah. Pretty good size, some of them. Getting closer to the doldrums, running a course of about 231 degrees right now to get to the area farther west where the doldrums are a little thinner, narrower. That's the intertropical convergence zone. Typically no wind, so trying to get to the spot that the weather forecast is showing that it's going to be the thinnest and also have the most wind in it. There's places it's down to 5 to 8 knots. Hopefully won't get caught in that very long. And get on the other side of it, and it's on the downhill slide on into French Polynesia. So a little sloppy today, winds 20 to 23 knots. Cruising along and hanging on. It's the 18th. View from the other side of the boat. Got one reef in the jib. Changed out the genoa this morning. I ran all night with the genoa and I shouldn't have, but I did. Changed out the jib with one reef in it, and the main's got one reef in it, so I'm going to leave it like that for now. We're supposed to get winds consistent like this for the next 2 or 3 days, so just leave her like she is. She's not screaming fast, but we're moving along about 5 1/4 knots. That's good, and good and stable, and just putting down miles. Kind of lumpy seas out here today. Been steadily kind of getting worse. Fortunately, I should be entering the doldrums tomorrow and the wind should drop. This wind has kept up 2 days now more than forecasted. Yeah, these are nothing dangerous, but it's a bumpy ride and you gotta hang on all the time. Well, May 22nd, 13th day of the crossing. Starting to hit the doldrums. A little bit ago, it hardly, what I have, 6 knots of wind. The boat wasn't moving very much, but now we got storm cells all the way around us. You look up in front there, nothing. But if you look over here, that's one. Not a heavy one, but there's another one back over there. And then we got another one that I'm hoping will skate behind us. The thing stretches from there clear over to there. So, a big one. Anyway, plugging along, sail change. Genoa up only. Took down the main. One, I had to do a little bit of work on it. I had 5 slugs at the top of it break. It hold it in the groove in the mast. So I got those replaced. But the main, if the wind comes anything from behind the boat, the main shades the Genoa. So these goofy, there's another squall that went over me a little bit ago and got me wet. As you can see, it's not clear and sunny by any means. Still got a pretty decent swell out of the northwest. I'm trying to remember now. Yeah, I've been in, actually for the last 4 or 5 days, it's been 6 to 9 foot swell. I think it's came down some, I'm going to say. There's an occasional 8 footer now. Most of them are 5 and 6. Plugging along. Some other damages that I've suffered are I've lost 2 jib sheets blow out, chafing. Had to replace those. Like I said, some slugs on the mainsail let go. Put new ones of those in. A few other minor things here and there. One of the Harken blocks on the boom vang blew out yesterday. Had to replace that. Kind of surprised me. The Harken block let go and the other one didn't. It wasn't a Harken, so whatever. Still got like 1,200-1,300 miles to go, but everybody says I'm on the downhill slide now. Currents in my favor, the winds are in my favor. Once I get it out of the doldrums, should be out of them by the 24th, a couple days. Hopefully, one thing nice about these little squalls is they give you some wind. You know, right now it's probably blowing 10 to 15, where when they get farther away, the wind almost dies to nothing. So they do give you some momentum and keep you going. Some of the other things, lots of the boobies around, not so much anymore. A couple of days ago they were everywhere. Of course at night they're wanting to land on the boat. They seem to have liked my Starlink probably the best. It's hard getting them off of there, and you know, I'll be honest, I wouldn't mind them being on the boat, but when they poop, it's like somebody squirted a gallon of milk all over everything, but it ain't milk. They just cover everything. It's nasty. So trying to keep them shooed off the boat. I should have brought what I used to call Fred, my hawk decoy. I don't know whether they would have been afraid of him or not. That might have been worth a try. I almost brought him, and then leave him at home. I won't need that. The only other things that have been going on is I've found a couple squid on deck, and almost every morning you got a couple anyways of flying fish on deck. Once in a while, if you look out next to the boat, you'll see them fly out of a wave like that, and you'll see them squirt out the other side of it and fly for 15, 20 feet and then dump back in the water. Kind of cool to watch, but they're hard to see. Anyways, I hope everybody's right. It says I'm on the easy half now. It's been, I'm not gonna lie, it's been a struggle. Out here alone is I would say more than doubles the effort and the work, because you don't have somebody else to, hey, grab that line and give it a tug real quick for me or whatever like that. I got to run back and forth and do everything myself. I tried to get through, but things didn't work out. Oh well. And I wasn't going to sit around in Mexico any longer. Mexico was okay. I'll be honest with you. It was okay. I'll leave it at that. I kind of almost think maybe I should have just said to heck with it and left from San Diego and went this way. I don't know. But it all worked out. Some people have been asking what happened to La Cruz. La Cruz is over on the mainland side. I would have had to lift Cabo San Lucas and about another 350 miles, something like that, over to La Cruz, which is by Puerto Vallarta. And then got supplies and stuff and left from there, which would have obviously added miles to the trip. Would have added the extra 300 plus to get to La Cruz. And one of the main reasons why I was going there was that's where everybody else seems to jump off from. At least a lot of people do. And I thought I was going to have crew there waiting for me too. And when the crew bailed on me, it was like, why do the extra miles and more punishment on the boat and everything else when I don't need to? So I just decided to heck with it and left from Cabo. Anyway, I think it's going to rain. Wind went from 6 knots to 20 knots. Visibility dropped to, oh shoot, I'm going to say 400 yards. It's wet out there. Oh, see, this is getting washed off good and getting the sails washed, all the salt out of them well, so not complaining. So it's definitely getting with it. Wow. Cruising along after a lot of work. The pole main and the Genoa up. It's been a very busy morning. First of all, last night wind died completely. My track on the GPS was just kind of going in circles. No wind to speak of. Not enough to even keep the steerage on the boat to do anything, so that wasn't working. Anyways, I crashed. I was tired. Fell asleep good. Woke up this morning about 6. Pouring down rain, and like a dummy, I had the hatches and stuff open because it's hot. I'm not used to this. I'm used to the Pacific Northwest. It's, according to my temperature gauge inside, it's 80 degrees, 97% humidity, and the water temp, according to Garmin Dip Finder, is 84 degrees. So that's one thing I was kind of spoiled with in the Pacific Northwest, is if it got hot during the day, the water in the ocean rarely seen above 60. So the hull of the boat, which is good 3 feet above the floor is the water line, cabin sole, it kept the boat, helped keep it cool, because the bottom of the whole lower half of the boat was in the water and chilled. Now the water is actually warmer than the air is, so I don't get any cooling there. It's going to take some time to get used to that. Anyways, get up this morning to everything's soaking wet, get the hatches closed and stuff, and then about daylight I come out and I left the genoa up all night. I noticed two seams in the genoa were starting to come undone. Now I did buy this sail used. It seemed to be in pretty good shape. I'm not rich. I couldn't afford a new one. I priced them and they're just like, no, I can't do that right now. You know, it's one of them things where everybody kept telling me, just go, you'll figure it out. And yeah, I'm going and I'm figuring it out. But on a budget, I don't have anybody helping from anywhere. I'm not asking for money on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or anything like that. I'm not monetized. I'm just doing this for my own enjoyment and the videos and such for friends and family. Actually turned out to be a pretty nice day. I would like to get new sails. I'd like to get a code 0 for it on a furler and a top-down furler, and I'd love to get a furling jib on this thing or a genoa on it, so I don't have to drop a sail and put up another and whatnot. Although you do get better sail shape out of a full-blown sail that's not furled, but whatever. Anyways, I spent about 4 hours this morning, 4 or 5 hours, re-sewing all the cross seams in that sail. When I got it, I re-sewed all the perimeter on my back deck, which was not bad. That was pretty easy. But I opened up the butterfly hatch and dropped it down through the ceiling basically, and with the sewing machine on the dinette table, that's how I sewed her back up, and it looks good. I don't see any issues in it. It's just well, quite honestly, old thread. The fabric it still looks pretty good. It's still fairly crisp for a lighter weight sail. I think it's going to serve its purpose. It just needed some TLC and some help to continue on, and it's already got me. Oh shoot! Well, this trip I'm over what 3,500 miles since I left home, so it's got some miles on it. I can't complain. There's been some other breakages. Lost a couple of jib sheets and other minor things here or there. Some of the stuff that has happened has been my own fault. I need to pay a little more attention to things and be more careful. And unfortunately, being by myself, I'm trying to remember everything by myself and try to do it safely and properly. But overall today looks like a pretty decent day. Not a lot of wind. I've only got about 9 knots of wind. I'm doing about 5. I'm happy with that. At least heading in the direction I need to be. Earlier this morning when I started working on the sail, the wind was right on the nose of where I wanted to go. So I just said to heck with it, fired up the engine and ran it while I was doing the sewing. So, got a few miles in today just because of the engine running. Other than that, that's about it. Got some cleaning up to do, put the sewing machine away, and get some other things done, and relax, and hopefully have a great rest of the day. Well, I pulled out all the stops. So I got about 7 knots of wind. Still got quite a ways, like 180 miles to get to the other side of the doldrums. A lot farther than those clouds are. Might get a little bit of a storm tonight. I got a pretty good section of clouds all the way around. There's some ones over there look like thunder clouds to me, but they're west of me, so I'm assuming they're going to pass down my right side. I don't want to deal with any lightning. That's not good. You are the highest thing on the ocean. That'd really suck to get hit by lightning and get all the Electronics knocked out. Anyways, what I did is I was only moving 1 3/4, 2 knots. I got full main up Genoa, and I thought, well, what the heck. Normally we are heading into it, about 50 degrees off the wind right now. And I didn't think the staysail would actually do it much good with the Genoa. It's made for running with the jib. But it is increasing and helping it a little bit. I'm getting about 3 knots now. So we will hope this keeps up, and I hope the wind doesn't die like it did last night. I mean, it just went dead. Like I said earlier, my plot on the chart plotter was just going in circles. And I couldn't get it to do anything. There wasn't enough wind to even fill the sails, make the rudder work. So, anyways, nice day. It's warm. Definitely a warm one. Dinghy's fixed. Got that done. Happy with that. Now I don't have to fight that when I get there. And looking forward to getting checked into French Polynesia and taking a couple of days and relaxing and chilling, and maybe go somewhere that somebody else can cook dinner. That would be nice. Now this is more what I was expecting as far as squalls go in the South Pacific. I'm still in the doldrums. Last night had just the staysail and the main up, and getting disgusted about 5 this morning. Was just about ready to say the heck with it and raise the Genoa. And something just didn't sit right, so I didn't. And about 15-20 minutes later, I got blasted with this rain and heavy wind. I had wind up to 35 knots. Right now, if you can even hear me over the rain. It's currently blowing 15 to 20, and it's wet out there. Definitely not going out there. I'm glad I had the sails up that I did. And healed over so good that the water's puddling up here in the cockpit on the sides. But just plugging along. Nothing dangerous. Everything on Kudos is doing fine. It's performing fantastically. It's just when it's still dark. I mean, the first 2 hours of this were in the dark. So you didn't know what to expect, you didn't know what it was coming. I wish I could show you a little better. I'm glad the swell is down. Yesterday I had a swell about 6 foot out of the south and about 4 to 6 foot out of the north. So they were kind of colliding with each other, not doing anything, but it definitely was lumpy. Now most of the swell is gone. There's probably a 4 to 5 out there right now out of the southeast. Appears that maybe finally this squall might be fizzling out. Hopefully you could see this. My track last night, I was heading basically south-southwest, and then when I shut it, I dropped the Genoa, I basically just drifted west. It wasn't even enough wind to even get any momentum to. It was just enough to keep the steerage going, and that was about it. So I drifted west, and then this storm, the wind spun hard out of the south. So I'm sailing pretty well west right now, 250 degrees. Just trying to make some ground on things. Hopefully here before long it'll switch out of the southeast like it's supposed to in the forecast say, and I can get more on a southerly course. Right now I'd be trying to go right into it again, trying to get to where I'm going. Well, it's about 6:30 in the morning. Cruising along in the dark. Day 17 of the passage. Finally have some wind going a little bit in my direction. The doldrums have been a pain in the butt. The wind has either been coming right on the nose of which direction I want to go, which then I got to turn off another way, which not making any progress. Finally, after motoring most of yesterday and all last night, the wind shifted off of, it was running 180, 190 degrees out of the south. It finally shifted, and I don't know whether you can actually see this or not, but it finally shifted. It's at 156, 155. So I am pinched off at it, running 50 degrees to the wind. Got about 12 to 13 knots of wind, and I'm doing about 4 1/4 to 4 1/2 knots over water. Now, to go with this, you see here we got 4.6 now, 4.7, but my GPS speed is only 3.15. That's because I got a heavy head current. Everybody tells me, oh, once you get past the doldrums, it'll be downwind, sailing downhill, the current will be with you. Yeah, not for Marty, it's not. The current's bucking against me. The winds hasn't cooperated. I'm hoping the things are looking on the upper side of things now. Hopefully. Anyways, we'll see how the day goes. I am out of the clouds. There's nothing but stars out. I'm liking that. I got some pretty heavy torrential downpours yesterday. Fortunately, no more squalls like the one yesterday morning that lasted, 3 hours and blew 30 plus. I don't like those. So anyways, see what happens. Finally out of the doldrums, I believe. Kind of a finger of wind stuck up into the section, and I managed to find it, and it looks like according to weather forecast it's going to last for a couple of days, which will get me south of the intertropical convergence zone and should be home free from there. The only issue I have right now is I've got about 1.5 knots of current dead on my nose. So even though Kudos is doing 5.5 knots and 15 knots of wind, we're down to about 4 knots actually speed over ground. Oh well. But we're trucking along and doing really well. Anxious to get there.